Alright, here is our purple pup. She just finished eating, our light purple pup I should say. We have two purples. She just finished eating, so she's doing what they do best at this age, and that is sleeping. If you watch her close, you might see her twitch a little bit in her sleep. That's actually a really good sign with a pup. We like to see them wiggle a little bit in their sleep. And that's a very good and normal thing. So we're just going to wake her up a little bit here. Her eyes won't open. Their eyes don't open until they're about 2 weeks old. We're just going to roll her over here and let you see her tummy. She is one of our marked pups. She's got this really cute white right here on her chest. That comes through Daisy's side, and then she's got some white toes back here, and that comes through River, through Daddy. So anyway, we can show you their ears are not quite open yet. They're getting bigger and softer. When they're born, they're quite small and stiff. They look like wax, actually. They're getting bigger and softer, getting ready to open up, but if you look, there's no opening into her ear canal yet. About the same time their eyes open, that ear canal will open up. And then there's a whole new world for the pups. They'll be able to hear and see. That's when the real action starts. That's when they get fun. They learn to walk and get playful, and that's when it all really happens. She's sticking her little tongue out at you there in her sleep. That's good. She's a cute little pup. Okay. Alright, here we have our cute little dark purple pup. She's again snoozing away, again what they do best. She's growing good and doing great. I don't know if you can see in the video, they're a week old now, like you know, and their toenails are growing. It's about time that we're going to have to trim those toenails. Their little tiny toenails are so pointy and sharp that it can be rough on Mama's tummy. So it's about time that we are going to have to trim those little toenails for you. No teeth yet. The pups are going to get teeth usually around 2 to 3 weeks old. No teeth have come in any of these pups yet. Just going to roll her a little bit and show you. She's another with the white. Here she's got kind of a cute little horseshoe shape on her chest there, and she's got just a couple, not all of her toes, but there's a couple of toes on each of those back feet that have just a little frosting on them. She's doing great, snoozing away. Daisy's been a real good mama, taking care of this big litter. Beautiful little girl. Are you ready? Yeah. All right. Here we have, you could call her Tiffany blue, turquoise, teal, seafoam, whatever you choose to call this color. On our website, we're going to call her teal. Pretty color for a pretty girl, whatever you choose to call it. She, again, is doing great like all the other pups. She's a little more active up here. Even though her eyes are shut, you can certainly tell she is awake. At this stage, with their eyes shut and their ears shut, they rely heavily on their scent of smell. It is amazing how well they can find Mama. They can smell where she is, and they know the difference between her back and her tummy. They can smell the difference, and they know how to smell their way right to their milk. So they rely heavily on that, and she's sniffing around trying to find her way to her Mama. She's doing great, again like the others. We're going to just turn her over and show you a little bit about her. She has a little bit of white on her back feet, just a little frosting there. She doesn't have the chest markings like the purple pups. She has the teensiest, it probably won't even show up on the video. There's the teensiest tiny speck of white right there on her chest calic. That could stay as she grows, most likely. The little tiny ones like that usually fade away. So she's not going to have much on her chest, but she does have the cute little white toes here in the back. And she's just doing wonderful. Alright, I call this color coral, but on the pictures it looks more pink, so that's what we're going to refer to her on the website as. She's being a little bit active up here. So here is our cute little pink pup, and she is, again, just doing great. We're so happy with all these pups. Even with big litters, Daisy takes good care of them, and they're all doing well. Let me show you her tummy. She's gonna squeal at you a little bit. At this age, they sound more like cats than dogs. So that's kind of a fun thing about them when they're little. She does not want to hold still. Right here, she has a small chest patch, smaller than the purple pups. And she's got the back feet, like a lot of them do. Plus, she's got a little bit on this one front paw here. She's gonna meow for you. They really make fun noises when they're little. It's almost a shame to talk when she's putting on a show. Let me just show you with her, with a dog. This is their belly button. Whoops, her toes are stuck. This is her belly button right here. So that's where her umbilical cord was coming out and attaching her placenta. Oh, good. When she was born. And just like a human baby, they have a little stub that dries up and is there for a while. You can see those have come off now and they're healing up nicely. She's going to show a little bit of personality here for you when most of them have been just snoozing away. Anyway, so there is the cute pink pup. Alright, here we have our green pup. You can see she's on the move a little bit too. As we progress through these videos with each pup, some of these have had a chance to take their nap and wake up, so they're on the move a little bit. And those first few, it's not that they're, lazy or boring pups, it was just, we got those ones during nap time, and these ones are just more awake. But here is our green pup. She's a wonderful little lady too, and doing great. Sniffing around, looking for mama. Try and keep her here on the shot. Let me show you the other side of her. So she doesn't really have much on her chest either. There's a little tiny speck up here that you probably can't even see. Again, I think that's going to go away on her. So she's not really going to have the chest markings. And as far as her feet, it's just this one back foot, those two center toes. So she is just a little tiny bit of white on her. She's growing good and doing great. Let me show you on her. On Tuesday, these pups all went to the vet. They had their dew claws and their tails done. Now, if you're not familiar with that, she's going to squirm and meow at us. Dew claws are basically like a thumb on the front feet of dogs, and it's very common procedure on active dogs, hunting breeds like these dogs are, to remove those. The reasoning for that is they're active and they're running through brush and stuff like that, hunting or playing or whatever it may be. They can actually catch that dew claw and rip it off, which is quite painful process and more damaging, and so it's very typical to just have those removed when they're little teeny tiny. So they just take that little dew claw off and cauterize it right there. They also had their tails done. Again, in hunting breeds, that's a very common thing, to shorten their tails up. They say that it helps protect their tails when they're active as well. So they take off, on a lot of hunting breeds, they go really short. They either go to just a stub or like a quarter or a half. On a Vizsla, the customary length is 2/3. So their tails used to be out to about here. They take off just the last third. They just do a little snip, and then there's one little stitch here in the end of their tails, and those will stay for a while. They don't take them out per se, it's just when the scab heals up and comes off, then that stitch comes off with it. So those pups have had those done, and everything went great with that. The vet felt like they looked really good and that everything went well. So there is our pretty green girl. Alright, here's our yellow pup. She's eaten, been to sleep, been awake and wiggled, and is back asleep again now. They spend, oh goodness, definitely the far majority of their time sleeping at this stage. I'd venture to guess maybe 90% of their time at this age is spent sleeping. So it's pretty good that we caught a few of them while they were awake. So like I said, this is our yellow pup, and she is a girl. The last of the females in this little set of clips, but definitely not the least. They're just in a random order here. And she is a wonderful, wonderful pup. I wish, she was sticking her tongue out a minute ago. I wish I could, and I'll have to see if I can ever do it, get a picture of these pups' tongues for you guys. When they're little, their tongues are absolutely amazing. And I know that sounds completely crazy, but when they're little at this age, their tongues are like almost paper thin. but they flatten out and they're so wide and so big that it's amazing. And they literally just make this bowl in their mouth for being able to nurse and get all that milk in. And their suction is so strong that if mama stands up while they're nursing, they will just hang there, holding their entire body weight just with their suction. So they've got some amazing tongues. I wish we could catch one of them in their bowl shape for you. Maybe we'll have to work on that. Anyway, she's a wonderful girl, growing good, doing great. Pups at this age, at a week old, they're right around double their birth weight, so they do grow incredibly fast. And they're going to just keep growing incredibly fast. To think that they can go from little teeny tiny, not eyes open, anything like that, and in 7 to 8 weeks be ready to be independent and in your home is just amazing. They grow at incredible rates. And it's so fun to watch them grow and develop and get to that point that they're ready to come to your home. So let me show you on her. We're going to sadly disturb her peaceful little slumber here. We're going to roll her over. Again, she's got just the tiniest hint right there. That could stay for life. If it does, it'll probably be really faint. Her mama Daisy has really faint markings that when you look at her you think she's a solid pup unless you really get close and examine her. I'm guessing that's going to be the effect of this one, that as she grows I'm guessing that's going to be faint and really not noticed unless you really look for it. You can see she's still got just a tiny bit of a scab there on her little belly button. Hasn't come off quite all the way yet. That's not a problem. They just all come off at their own time when they're good and ready. We'll show you her feet. Both of those left feet are solid and both of those right feet are solid. So she is going to be a pretty solid, mostly monochromatic pup when she grows up. Beautiful girl. Alright, here's our orange man. And we're going to start into our boys here in our little video introductions. When we were trying to do his still shots, he was being Mr. Muscles and trying to walk around. Now he's worn himself out and is holding still a little bit more. As far as puppies walking, they're not going to be proficient at that for a little bit more. Maybe he's going to try here again. They're not going to be proficient at that for a little bit more. A couple of weeks probably before they're real up and walking. They start that pretty much really working on that when their eye is open, which makes sense. When they can see, they become a lot more active and ready to move around their world at that point. So here is our orange pup. And he is just doing great like all the rest of them. Let me roll him over here and give you a little shot of his belly side. He's going to tuck his feet up. Put your chin up, sir. Okay, so there you can see a couple little patches, little white spots there on his chest and one up here kind of in the collar area for him. As far as toes go, front are solid and back are solid. So he is just doing great, growing good, rolling around. They are kind of transitioning their coats when they're born. They have, the fur that they're born with, and it is much more brown when they're born than what their adult color will be. They transition into that red as they get older. So they're still kind of that brown color, and then in a few weeks again, that's going to start to transition to more of their adult coat. And that's kind of when they start moving around, being active, when we can start to see more about their personalities as well as their physical traits. So that's when the action really starts and we can start to be able to tell a little bit more about each pup. Here's our orange boy. Here is, he's going to crawl away. Here is Mr. Red, our red man. He is being active at the moment, sniffing around, looking. He's probably about ready to eat again, as well as these pups really like to be together. If you ever have seen a litter of brand new pups, that's where the term doggy pile comes from. They really don't like to be alone. They like to be able to feel someone else with them. So he is hunting around, probably looking for mama and some milk, as well as wondering where all of his brothers and sisters went. But he's just doing great. Like I say, these pups are growing really good. At first we had to keep them about 85 degrees to keep them warm and healthy. They're growing well, maintaining their body weight well. So we can gradually work that room temperature down now to where we're closer to the 80-degree temperature range, which Mama enjoys that a lot more. It's more comfortable for Daisy when it's not quite so warm in here. So we're working in that direction. He's going to meow for you. The little noises they make are just so much fun. Let me roll him over and we will show you his tummy. Oh, I know. Put your head up. So you can see there, he's got kind of a white badge right there. And solid front paws. Oh, hold still. And solid back paws right there. So he's got that little chest badge. Kind of looks like a police badge or something right there. He's also got the tiniest little bit right up here. That will probably fade. It's a little enough patch. It might fade as he gets bigger. So he's just a handsome man. All right, here's Mr. Gray. He's got the gray ribbon. He can't decide whether he's active or sleepy at the moment. He keeps going back and forth. Let me show you him. I'll roll him over. He's, I know, put your head up. He's got this little banner right here and a little tiny speck up here that is most likely going to fade. As far as feet, we're solid in front, solid in back. Again, you can see that his belly button's healing up well. Tail and dew claws are doing great. Gaining weight and doing really well. Daisy's been a real good mom. She's good at just feeding the pups and making sure they have what they need. And Daisy is quite a active dog, and so we also make sure that we get her out for little half-hour breaks or so where she can move around and take care of herself. And allowing her to do that helps keep her from feeling so shut up and, you know, contained in here. And then she just is a real good mom. And there's Mr. Gray. Mr. Brown, last but not least of our boys. Again, just in random order. He's deciding to be rather active at the moment, hunting around for everybody else. He's doing great, growing big, nice strong pup. Let me show you on him. Roll over, sir. So here you can see he's got a little bit of a smaller patch than a couple of the other, oh, big yawn, a couple of the other boys. A slight maybe frosting right there, but I doubt that that's going to stay. Solid front feet, solid back feet. Okay, and you can see that his belly button is healing up good, and his tail, all of them are doing just really well as far as that goes. They have you do tails and dew claws really early. The reason for that is they say the pups' nervous systems aren't fully developed at that point, which makes sense. You know, I mean, they're born with their eyes closed and stuff like that. They're not fully developed, and so it's not nearly as traumatic for them. There's not as much sensation. So we make sure and always have that done really early on. One thing that's quite fun about this litter is that the pups are more unique than many of our other litters have been. In a breed that tends to all look the same, you know, there's several of them that have these fun little markings that make them unique. You know, their own little self there and have a unique appearance. So that's kind of a fun thing to be able to tell them apart a little bit. Again, growing great, doing well. We're real excited about these pups. Mom and Dad are both just such beautiful, beautiful dogs. Wonderful structure, exceptional health, perfect personalities. We're just really excited to see what this litter of pups will develop into.